Hi, I'm Chris Plumb, head coach and CEO of Carmel Swim Club. This is the Off the Deck podcast. Off the Deck champions Carmel Swim Club's mission, teaching excellence through swimming for life. Carmel Swim Academy will provide an entry point for more children in central Indiana to have access to life-saving programs. It's true, drowning is the leading cause of injury-related death in children ages 1 to 4, and the second leading cause of death in children 5 to 9. But there is hope. Participation in formal swimming lessons can mitigate the risk of drowning by 88%. We are compelled to use our expertise in swimming to make our community safer and ensure every child has the opportunity to learn to swim. To learn more, visit www.carmelswimacademy.org. The Off the Deck podcast is also sponsored by Gain Swimming. Gain Swimming is the gold standard in dry land training. We have our annual clinic coming up September 10th through the 12th. So if you're listening to it this week, hurry up, get here, figure out how to get to Carmel to sign up for the clinic. It's going to be great. We're going to be in person, and we're so excited to have people and discuss what we do. We got the regulars coming in, Ian Murray, Chris Webb, and even special guest, Mr. Brent Arkey, who coached Emma Wyatt to a silver medal in the 2020 Olympic Games. But happy to have today's guest on, very close friend of mine, but currently named the associate head coach of Carmel Swim Club. The man's he's coached just about every group at the Carmel Swim Club. He's a great swimmer at Purdue, and he comes from the region, Mr. Chris Pfaff. Chris, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm recovering from the workout we just did together, but excited. I'm done sweating for today, I hope. So
well, you do have to go back on the pool deck, but luckily now our pool is much cooler. So, Chris, you were just named associate head coach. I think it's important to recognize that you really have coached about every single group at Carmel, 9, 10s, 11, 12s, 13, 14, senior one, high performance. Through all that, I think you're a guy who's risen through the ranks. You started at the bottom and now you're here, right? So how, talk about your journey a little bit at Carmel. Why did you come, and, how did you get here today?
Yeah, it's a pretty unique experience I've had. And I don't know, I feel like I was kind of in the right place at the right time. And, it kind of started in West Lafayette with TJ Day coaching Boilermaker Aquatics. He brought me on as a coach, and about 2 years in coaching there, TJ came to Carmel, and then about 8 months later, I followed in April of 2014. And there wasn't a full-time position in West Lafayette for me, so I came here for a full-time position. I knew at that point I wanted to coach. So I came here and I was coaching, I think that first summer here, I was coaching a 9, 10, 11 group, 12, 13, 14 group, a homeschool group, and then the high school as well. So I was doing a little bit of everything. And over the last 7.5 years, it's just evolved into where we are right now. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I was in the right place at the right time, and in a program. I think that just certainly rewards hard work and consistency, and showing that you want to be here and do great things.
Yeah. So, you coached in Lafayette. You were a high school coach for a year. We recognized your talent and your ability, but you certainly had things to learn. When you first started coaching, what do you think some of the key things you learned in that first couple of years of coaching that maybe you could wish you could go back and tell yourself?
So when I was in West Lafayette, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, sure. I mean, just in those, first 2 or 3 years of coaching, right? What did you really learn, and what did you think you knew that you really didn't know?
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with my high school coach, who I'm still pretty close with, Coach Van Riesch, and I asked him, I was like, how do you write workouts? How do you do it? And he's like, by doing it, right? And I think it's just the time and the wisdom. And I think having patience. I think patience is developed over time. And when I first started, I was so fired up about coaching and excited, and I came in every day, and I coached until I was exhausted, right? And I think just having that patience and that, just taking your time with stuff as well. I remember in the fall, I was always ready to, like, all right, let's get to work. Let's work hard. We're going to get better by working hard. And right now we are going about as slow as we possibly can to just teach and learn and get to a place where we're ready to work hard. So if I could tell myself one thing, it would be slow down, have some patience, think about the big picture of the season and maybe even the next 3 or 4 years, and start there and create a plan from there.
Yeah. So let's talk about each of the kind of the groups. If you were starting out coaching, say a 9-10 intermediate, I mean, I don't think any 9-10s are advanced. So, but like, you're better 9-10s and you're writing a season plan, what would be maybe 3 things you would think about with 9-10 athletes?
Well, where are they going when they leave my group, right?
Okay.
And so for example, in our program, we have our top 9-10 group and top 11-12 group, and communicating with that next coach, right? Like, hey, what do we want those kids to look like when they enter that group? And you have XYZ, and then, okay, we're at the beginning of the season. How do I get XYZ by the end of the season? And I certainly, in my opinion, what that's going to look like is taking less strokes and figuring out how to do it faster, right? In all 4 strokes. So often have conversations about being efficient and just swimming better, kicking, and swimming better.
I thought you did it, watching you coach the 9-10s, you certainly brought a lot of energy on the pool deck. But just the way you could kind of, if command is the right word, I'm not sure, but like you definitely are to take charge and there's a different energy you have to bring to the 9-10s, right? So when you're coming into a 9-10 practice, what are you thinking about?
It's so funny. I was talking to Chris Webb. I don't remember when. We were actually talking about 8 and unders, and he was making a point like of when you're coaching that age, you have to say, first group, ready, go. Second group, ready, go. And I think it's just being engaged all the time with that age, and they respond to that so well, right? They're going to respond to your engagement. And so I think any age group will, but older athletes are a little bit more independent, and the younger ones, they need engagement. And I think I learned that. And I think it's so easy to be a little bit more fun, and I'm probably a little bit more goofy with them, so they respond well to that. And you're the fun coach and you're the 9-10 coach. And I really enjoyed being the fun coach at that age, and still do, right? So
right, yeah. And then you're also doing some work on dry land with them, getting them ready, getting to become athletes, right? We talk about at Carmel, they're getting less PE, they're doing less things on land than we used to growing up. When you're thinking about dry land and organizing their movement on land, I've seen you organize some cones on the pool deck or finding space upstairs in the stands. Like, do you just like look for a space and figure out how to get these kids? Like, what are you thinking about them to get them ready on the land space there?
Yeah, well, recently we've had a lot of conflicts with our weight room. We have an awesome weight room, and I think a lot of other youth sports teams in Carmel are figuring out how awesome that weight room is. And we've got to work in different areas. So even this past spring, I was working with our beginner 9-10 group, and I had like a little, I don't even know what it was, but it was like a little station, like deal with cones, and we're throwing balls, throwing and catching, So I think the first thing I'm going to look for is a place where I can monitor them and it's safe, right? We're not going to trip. We're not going to fall or get hurt. I can see everyone. The nice thing about using the pool deck at that point is it was dry because we were the first group in the water. So I felt like, hey, we can do some stuff on there without worrying about them slipping. Although we were throwing wiffle balls and the wiffle balls were going in the water, so the pool deck was ending up getting wet. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like organizing them, having a place where you can just be engaged in what they're doing, telling them when to go, giving them instruction, giving them feedback. And then I think if you're talking about the absolute like details of dry land, I think it's just getting them aware of their body.
Yeah.
And making them realize like what their feet are doing, what their hands are doing. And, I was just going back to the dryland manual, and it reminds me every time I read through it. We have our own dryland manual, and if you come to Gain, I'm sure you'll see a version of it, or you will see it. It says giving them problems to solve with their body on land, right? And isn't that how it goes? I think it's like giving them problems to solve, right?
Yeah.
And I love that idea. And I also, dryland's so cool because you can talk to them all the time. Where when they're in the pool, their face is in the water, and you can talk to them on the wall, right? So,
yeah, and I think we've talked about how important to have a positive relationship with the athletes, where you're helping them become better people, right? So, I think I've seen you grow in terms of like your ability to connect, but also see a bigger picture away from the pool. So, when we talk as a staff, we talk about character development, right? Like it's one of those things. And, when you are coaching, right, it's not just about the water, it's about this whole person and everything that's going on in their life. So, when you're developing your character, I know you do a lot of different things to help develop them, and you have discussions. So talk us through a little bit about, some of the things you've done to develop things outside of the pool to help develop the character side of this.
Yeah. So one thing first thing that came to my mind when you just said this is we have what's called pit crew parents. And I think it's such a cool thing. And what our pit crew parents will do is they will, they have gatherings outside of practice. Maybe for a younger group, it's some snacks or something. And, but for the older groups, I think 13 and over, they're actually going and hanging out and doing stuff outside of there. That's a piece of relationship development piece. I think for the in pool or in practice development, there's a lot of different things we're doing. One, I think we're big on the triple impact competitor and living that. And what that is every day you're coming to practice with the mindset that you're going to make yourself better, make your teammates better, make the sport better. That's a big piece. I think something special that we're doing as a staff, and I love it, and Rhiannon Sheets is leading the charge on this, is we kind of modeled it after this, what is it called? Where did the triple impact competitor come from?
Yeah, Chris, you're going to
PCA.
Yeah. Positive Coaching Alliance. Yeah.
Yeah. So we modeled it after these worksheets that they have, and we came up with our own based on our own values as a club. And we have staff meetings, probably 2 a month, where we discuss the word, what it means, and how we want to teach that to the kids on our team. And each lead group coach and then takes this worksheet and teaches the kids in their groups. So I think that's certainly a pretty cool way that we're teaching this character development piece. And then ultimately, it's just the way you treat people and the standard you hold them to, and just the expectation when they come to practice every day. It was pretty cool. So as part of my transition into associate head coach, I'm not the lead coach of the 13, 14s anymore. And the 7th grade group, that's now the 8th grade group, I think it was Tuesday in practice, I asked them, what is the expectation for being in this group? And they fired it off like, it was so cool. Like without hesitation, I only asked the eighth graders so the seventh graders in the group could hear. And I mean, they were on it. They were repeating all the stuff we talked about last year, and just reminds me, you may not think they're listening, but they really are. And if they can repeat it after a month out of practice, that means they understand it, and they are living that to some extent. So
Yeah, Chris, that's a great point. I mean, anytime I especially tune in when I hear athletes get up and speak in front of the group, and you're like, wow, you really learned that. I didn't know that you did. And so they are paying attention, they are learning, and that's a great story. And I know those athletes really listen to you and respect you for the work that you're doing. But it is evident that you care about them, and they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think you bring that every day. That's evident, and that's why you've gotten to where you are. So, and there's another part of that is better people make better athletes, right? And so we're creating that opportunity to make better people through the things we're doing, and you're doing that. So, now that you're coaching seniors, right? And how has your role changed, and what are you looking forward to in your new role?
Yeah, so I think we're kind of developing this as we go. I mean, it's new to me. I feel pretty good at what I was doing before, leading the age group team and the coaching staff. So I think, I'm excited for something new, right? I've done the head age group coaching role for 4.5 years. So I'm excited to hand that off to somebody else. I think the first chunk of the season here will be teaching my job, my previous role, to our new head age group coach. And then what I foresee being a big part of my new role is just being able to spend more time with our coaching staff. The biggest challenge I had is when I'm on deck with age group, I'm all in on the group, and I can't give the time that I would like to with the other coaches on the deck when I'm coaching at the same time. So, I want to be able to spend more time with them, and I think this new role is going to allow me to do that. I also think just coaching and learning the next part of the senior athletes is going to be. I've always been coaching there, but I haven't really led that that group for a extended period of time. So I think that'll be a new challenge for me as well. I think a new and fun challenge will be, I've been thinking about this a lot. Since I've come here, I've always led my own group, and I haven't really had to work with other full-time coaches in a group. So working with you, Chris, and Rhiannon will certainly be fun and a challenge at the same time. I need to change the way it's not just all on me, it's on all of us. So yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, you're going to put the guys asking the question. No, I'm excited because I've just seen you grow, and you're ready for that growth. And it gives me an opportunity. If I'm teaching more coaches what's successful and what works, the better we're going to be. And right. And knowing I have the more capable people around, the better we're going to be too. And it's not to me about anything to do with ego. I need to have coach this or this or this. It's not about that. So to have extremely capable people in roles who are excited to show up and learn, I think it's great. And I know our kids are going to benefit, our team's going to benefit, our community is going to benefit. So that's what I'm excited about. There's a challenge, dividing workouts up, and teamwork makes the dream work. And so you just got to put your ego aside and move forward. And that's my advice to all people out there is like, get rid of your ego. Ego is the enemy. It's holding you back. Don't let it get in the way. Coach people the best you can. Come in with your heart open and ready to give you everything you have to the people around you, and good things are going to happen. It's never going to be easy, but without resistance, you don't go anywhere, right? You need some resistance. So was not expecting me put on the spot there. So I'll throw it right back at you, Chris. You've hit on it a little bit, but it's evident to anybody who sees you that you love what you do, but what do you personally love, and what would you be willing to share? What do you love about coaching?
Yeah, I think most people will say this, but just being on the pool deck. Pool deck's the fun part of the job, and I don't know. It's just it's so cool. We were just talking about this. I think what I really love about coaching swimming and at Carmel is you see these special moments that happen. And over the past 7.5 years I've been here, special moments have happened at the banquet when you have over 600 people there. You have your senior athletes um, giving a senior speech in front of all these parents. And again, they're repeating these things that they've heard since they were 8 years old. This past year we had like all clubs across the country, we had some smaller meets, but just a lot of special things happen, some time trials, and just I think that's the part that you keep coming back when you see the entire team doing red and blue, our team cheer, and it's so loud and they're all into it. Like those special moments just keep bringing you back. So yeah, it has to be the special moments. I'm starting to really enjoy teaching other people. I've learned that as well, and it's fun to share what you've learned and listen to what other people have to say as well. I think finding somebody that, obviously, Chris, I've learned a lot from you and people like Rock King and Ian Murray and all these people that I've learned from. Finding people that to mentor you, I certainly enjoy that, and stealing their ideas. I think I was telling you there was, I don't know when it was, maybe a year or so ago, where I would take like 4 of your workouts a week and modify it. I wasn't even writing my own workouts. I was just like, oh, this is great. And I'm sure you were taking workouts from other people as well. So, but I think it has to be on deck, and the special moments that happen, being a part of those moments.
Yeah, and I think the special moment, just to kind of bring the story to light, was we try to get athletes to Olympic trials, and we went to Texas to this meet to get people qualified, and we came up short. We had some athletes who said, "No, I'm going to make it," and so we did a time trial on a Friday night in between senior and age group practice, and we had people make it, and the place was just this unleashing of emotion that we've been piled. You've been so cautious around people, and just to have this moment where I was like, no, we're doing this. This is fun. And everyone was into it. It was a really cool moment. And one I will never forget. I mean, watching someone get an Olympic trial cut in a 400-meter swim, that takes guts, right? And a 200-meter fly. So, yeah. And I know that was a cool moment, and that was fun. So
the best part was that so it's right before all the age groupers swim. And we had age groupers up in the stands on the pool deck. It was unbelievably loud. It's over. All right, get in the pool. I've never seen kids warm up faster than they did after that. They were sprinting like these little 10-year-olds, just like sprinting. It was so funny. But that was a fun.
Yeah, we
fun
should have had a meet. We should have had a meet right then and there, right? Like,
yeah,
we would have crushed it. Yeah, but I think that's what. I think, Chris, you obviously got offers to go other places, but one of the reasons you stayed is because those moments can happen here, right? And like you got to create a place where those moments can. They're not always going to, but you just got to create an environment where it can happen, right? And like you're a part of that, the whole staff's a part of that, but and it did, and it makes it worth it. So, I think the other thing I wanted to talk about is like, you probably played multiple sports, and how did you get involved in swimming? And, what made you choose swimming over the other sports when you were younger?
Yeah, I don't know. I did a lot of sports growing up. And okay, first of all, I say this all the time. I wish I had the Carmel Swim Club growing up, because I didn't have that. And Man, if I did, it probably would have changed maybe the way I did some things. I'm sure it would have, hands down. But I grew up in a smaller area. Like my high school was 300 total. I mean, to fill out rosters, you had to do multiple sports. So I did. Oh my gosh, I just did everything except football. My parents wouldn't let me play football, and I went to a football school, and I was so upset about that. But probably glad now I didn't. But yeah, I got in at the YMCA in Elkhart, Indiana. They just sent a flyer home. I was like, I want to try it. I did it. I liked it. I kept doing it. Went to high school, and I actually did 5 sports through 8th grade. And my freshman year, I did track and swimming, and then my sophomore year, I stopped track just for swimming. So yeah, I mean that was kind of my path through swimming growing up, and yeah, I don't know. I certainly feel like thinking back through it, I didn't swim in the summers because I was doing baseball, and it was just a different time too. I think we've learned a lot more about swimming in that sense. But we still have a lot of kids that do a lot of sports here, and in fact, right now we were looking. I was actually expecting our pool to be super crowded, but with cross country and football going on right now, it's like with the age groupers at least, there's a lot of our kids that are doing a lot of other sports. And I remember Rock King always said, the swimmers are always the best runners because they're in the best shape, right? And
Yeah, right.
often a lot of our kids that do swim year round are doing really well at cross country and track. And I do think that's not only because of what we do in the pool, but because of what we do in dryland in the weight room.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's grown and changed is really the dry land and our unique way of looking at it. And I think, man, I wish I would have had this dry land, this connection.
Oh yeah.
It would have been so fun. But that's what we live and learn. And, we're trying to figure out what's going to be different in 20 years. Right. So we got to make sure we're doing that. So we're going to finish with some fun, fast questions on the end. They get faster as they go here. So
I hope you can keep
ready?
up.
Oh, I know you got your fast twitch. I know you are. So I've seen you take those workouts out real fast and then not be able to hang on. You're getting better at those, though.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Anybody in history, who would you like to do a social kick with?
Oh man, I wasn't ready for this one.
Yeah.
Freaking all right. So we went and saw the Hall & Oates concert 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And I'd love to see John Oates, that's not 73 years old, and do a social kick with him.
There you go.
Like 1985.
Okay. 1985, John Oates. That's who you want a social kick with. Okay. What were 3 songs on your pre-race playlist?
It was certainly what's the 8 Mile song by Eminem? The Mom Spaghetti song. Outkast, and I'm talking middle school. Okay. Sorry, Miss Jackson, and then probably AC/DC, Back in Black.
Yep. All right. What song would you least like to pop up when you're coaching practice?
Oh man. I don't even know. I'm supposed to answer these fast.
Yeah, I know. They'll get easier as we go here. Trust me.
What song don't I like? I like a lot of music. This isn't fair because they're all my jams. So, maybe like something like Sesame Street or something like Disney songs. I'm not a Disney song.
Okay, no Disney songs. All right. If you could have a billboard at the pool for everyone to read, what would it say?
It would be a big statue of Chris Plumb.
Oh my gosh! All right, you already got the job.
That's it. That's an inside joke.
Inside jokes.
That's a staff joke.
Yeah. Would you rather swim the deep end or shallow end?
Deep end because I like to dolphin kick.
Okay. What is your perfect I am order?
Butterfly backstroke, butterfly backstroke.
Fly back, fly back.
Yeah.
Kickboard or no kickboard?
No kickboard.
Kick or pull?
Pull. Kick. Kick. Kick.
All right, come on, make up your mind. What would you rather swim in a pool that's too cold or too warm?
Too cold.
Lane leader or caboose?
What kind of workout are we doing? The threshold, I'm going last. If we're going fast, I'd probably go first.
You'd probably go for all right. Would you rather have to do the 200 fly or 400 IM?
200 fly.
Okay. Favorite Gatorade color?
Purple.
Purple.
Yeah.
Purple. Fierce purple.
Yeah, fierce grape.
Fierce grape.
Is that
all
what
right.
it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe. Chris, this has been fun. What would you like to leave our audience with today? Anything you got going on you want to share?
No, I'm excited for the month of September. It's starting to cool down. It's still sunny out. I'm excited for Gaines Swim. It's always fun to see coaches from across the country. I get to go coach and be assistant coach at the National Select Camp later this month. That's fun. Pretty excited about that. Yeah, and I always come back to your quote, and I talked about it the other day, and I think it's relevant to all swimmers that it's okay to fail as long as you fail with passion and effort rather than doubt and fear.
That's
Big believer quote. There. Yep.
Yeah. All right, Chris, appreciate it, and I'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah, I'll see you in the morning. All right, thank you for having me.
Yep.